It's 3 a.m. again. You open your eyes, and the room is quiet. The house is still. You're not in pain. You're not frightened. You're simply awake. And you wonder gently, why does this keep happening now? If you're over 70 and this small nightly interruption has become familiar, I want you to know something right away. Your body is not betraying you. It is speaking to you. My name is Dr. Margaret Hale. I am 86 years old, and I spent more than 50 years caring for women through pregnancies, through menopause, through fragile bones and strong recoveries, through laughter and loss. I have sat across kitchen tables just like this one, listening to women describe the same 3 a.m. wake-up. And over time, I learned to hear what their bodies were trying to say. So let's talk about you. When you were younger, your sleep was like a deep well. You fell in and you stayed there. But as you age, that well becomes a little shallower, not broken, just lighter. One of the reasons is something very simple. Your brain changes with time. Inside your brain is a tiny clock, a delicate timekeeper that tells your body when to feel sleepy and when to feel alert. When you are in your 70s and beyond, that clock becomes more sensitive to light, noise, and even small shifts in blood sugar. It's like an old but beautiful grandfather clock. It still works, but it needs a bit more care and calm around it. At 3 a.m., your body temperature is at its lowest. Your blood sugar may dip slightly. If your dinner was early or light, your system might whisper, "Let's be alert for a moment," not loudly, just enough to wake you. I remember a woman named Ruth. She was 74, steady as an oak tree, but she began waking at 3 a.m. every night. She worried something was terribly wrong. We talked through her evenings. She ate supper at 5 p.m., watched television until 9, then went to bed. By 3 a.m., nearly 10 hours had passed since she'd eaten. Her body wasn't in danger. It was simply asking for balance. A small protein-rich snack before bed, a handful of nuts or a spoon of yogurt softened that wake-up call. Your muscles also play a quiet role in this. After 70, you naturally lose muscle mass, not because you failed, but because your body becomes more efficient and conservative with energy. Muscle helps regulate blood sugar and supports steady circulation. When muscle becomes lighter, blood sugar can rise and fall more easily overnight. Think of muscle as the roots of a garden. The deeper and healthier the roots, the more stable the soil. When roots thin out, the soil shifts more quickly. This doesn't mean you need heavy weights or dramatic changes. It simply means your body benefits from gentle strength. Light resistance bands, standing from a chair several times a day, slow walks with purpose. These small acts strengthen the roots. Your bones, too, are part of this nighttime story. Bone is living tissue. After menopause and into your 70s and 80s, bone density naturally declines. But what many women don't realize is that bone health and sleep health are companions. When you wake at 3 a.m. and lie there tense, your stress hormones rise slightly. Over months and years, chronic tension can quietly affect both sleep and bone strength. I once cared for Elena, 81 years old, who said, "I don't feel anxious during the day, but at night my mind makes lists." Her body wasn't failing her. It was simply quiet enough for her thoughts to echo. We worked on a simple evening ritual, writing tomorrow's list before bed, dimming the lights an hour earlier, and practicing 5 slow breaths when she woke. Her bones did not suddenly thicken, and her sleep was not perfect, but her nights softened, and that matters. There is also your circulation. As you age, blood vessels lose a bit of their flexibility. They are like garden hoses that have served faithfully for decades. They still carry water, but not with the same bounce. When you lie still for hours, your body may adjust your heart rate or blood pressure slightly to maintain balance. That small internal adjustment can be enough to wake you gently. This is why daytime movement matters so much. Not strenuous movement, just consistent movement. When you walk in the morning light, you reset your internal clock. When you stretch your legs in the afternoon, you support circulation. These small habits are like oiling the hinges of a well-kept home. Nothing dramatic, just steady care. And then there are hormones. By 70, estrogen and progesterone have long settled into lower levels. These hormones once acted like soft blankets for your brain, helping you stay asleep. Without them, your sleep becomes lighter. That is not illness, it is biology. But it means your body now depends more on routine, light exposure, nutrition, and calm evening habits than it once did. You see, waking at 3 a.m. is rarely a single problem. It is usually a conversation between your brain, your muscles, your metabolism, and your daily rhythm. And here is something I want you to hold gently. Waking is not the same as insomnia. If you wake, breathe, perhaps use the restroom, and return to sleep within 20 or 30 minutes, your body is still resting. It is simply resting in chapters instead of one long story. If these conversations we're having feel helpful to you, I would be honored if you stayed with me by subscribing. Not for numbers, but so you have a steady voice walking beside you as you care for this beautiful, aging body of yours. Tonight, when you wake at 3 a.m., instead of asking, "What is wrong with me?" perhaps you might ask, "What is my body adjusting to?" Because more often than not, it is adjusting, not failing. When you wake tonight at 3 a.m., I want you to try something very gentle. Instead of turning against your body, turn toward it. You see, one of the quiet changes after 70 is in your stress system. When you were younger, your body could move from alert to calm very quickly. Now that shift is slower. Think of it like an older stove. It still warms beautifully, but it takes a little more time to cool down once the flame has been on. At 3 a.m., even a small thought, something as ordinary as remembering a bill, a grandchild, or an appointment, can activate a small ripple of alertness. Your body releases a touch of cortisol, the morning hormone. In your 30s, that hormone rose closer to sunrise. In your 70s, it may rise a little earlier, not dangerously, just earlier. That is why your mind can feel surprisingly clear in the dark. I remember a patient named Lillian, 78 years old. She told me, "Margaret, my brain feels sharper at 3 a.m. than at noon." She would start planning closets and reorganizing drawers, in her mind, of course. The problem was not her brain, it was timing. Her internal clock had shifted slightly forward. We adjusted her morning light exposure, 10 minutes outside with her tea each morning, and gently moved her bedtime back by half an hour. Within weeks, her 3 a.m. wake-ups became less frequent. Light is powerful medicine, and it costs nothing. When sunlight touches your eyes in the morning, it tells your brain, this is the beginning. That signal helps delay the early rise of cortisol the following night. If you stay indoors in dim light most of the day, your brain can become confused about time. And confusion at 86 or 76 feels the same. It often shows up at 3 a.m. Now let's talk about your bladder, because many women quietly blame themselves for this. As you age, bladder capacity changes. The muscles that once held comfortably through the night become a little more sensitive. Even a modest amount of urine can trigger a signal to wake. This is not weakness. It is simply muscle tone and nerve sensitivity evolving with time. But here is the interesting part. Sometimes you wake first and then notice your bladder, not the other way around. If you are drinking large amounts of fluid in the evening, especially tea or coffee, your body is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Caffeine, even in small amounts, can linger longer in older bodies because metabolism slows slightly with age. Your liver still works faithfully, but more gradually. That afternoon cup of tea at 4 p.m. may still be whispering to your nervous system at midnight. I often advised women to shift most fluids earlier in the day and taper gently after dinner. Not restrict, just taper. Your body prefers rhythm, not extremes. Metabolism itself changes after 70. Your cells become more economical. They burn fuel more slowly. This is a beautiful adaptation in many ways. It is one reason some people live long lives, but slower metabolism can also mean temperature regulation shifts. If you wake feeling slightly warm or slightly chilled at 3 a.m., it may simply be your internal thermostat adjusting. Keep your bedroom a little cooler than the rest of the house. Use layered blankets instead of one heavy one. That way, you can adapt without fully waking yourself. I want to share something else that is rarely discussed. Loneliness can wake you, not always in a dramatic way. But the nervous system of a woman who has lost a spouse, who lives alone, or whose children have moved away, can remain slightly more alert at night. For decades, your body may have slept beside another heartbeat. Even if that person snored or stole the covers, your nervous system knew it was not alone. When that presence changes, your brain can become subtly vigilant during the night hours. One widow I cared for, Miriam, 83, began waking nightly at 3:15 a.m., the exact time her husband used to leave for early shifts. She didn't consciously think about it. Her body remembered. We didn't fix it with medication. We added a soft radio at low volume for gentle background sound, and she placed a frame photo on her bedside table where she could see it in dim light. Her waking did not vanish overnight, but the sharp edge softened. You must understand, not every 3 a.m. wake-up is a disorder. Many are adjustments. However, if your waking is accompanied by significant shortness of breath, chest discomfort, severe leg cramps, or persistent sadness that colors your entire day, those are conversations for your physician. Responsible care means knowing when to ask for help. Most often, though, your body is simply asking for steadier daytime habits, gentle strength exercises to preserve muscle, morning light to steady your clock, balanced meals with protein to support blood sugar, limited caffeine after midday, a calming pre-sleep ritual, dim lights, quiet music, warm bath, or prayer. And when you do wake, resist the temptation to check the clock repeatedly. The clock can become an adversary. If you are awake longer than 20 minutes and feel restless, quietly move to a comfortable chair, keep the lights low, read something soft and familiar, and return to bed when your eyes grow heavy. This teaches your brain that the bed is for rest, not for frustration. You are not fragile because you wake at 3 a.m. You are simply in a season of life where your body requires wiser tending, like an old garden that still blooms beautifully but prefers regular watering and gentle pruning. Now let us speak about the deeper whispers. Most 3 a.m. wake-ups are gentle adjustments, as we've said, but occasionally they are your body asking for closer attention, not panic, just attention. If you find that you wake at 3 a.m. with your heart racing, damp with perspiration, or with a feeling of unease you cannot explain that may be your blood sugar dipping more than it should. This is more common if you have diabetes, prediabetes, or if your evening meal is very light and low in protein. When blood sugar drops, your body releases stress hormones to raise it again. Those hormones wake you. A small balanced snack before bed, something with protein and a touch of healthy fat, can sometimes steady that swing. But if these episodes are frequent or intense, this is a conversation for your physician. A simple adjustment in meal timing or medication can make a world of difference. If you wake short of breath, especially if you need to sit upright to breathe comfortably, that is not something to ignore. As we age, the heart and lungs work faithfully, but can grow less efficient. Fluid balance can shift at night when you lie flat. Most cases are mild and manageable, but they deserve medical eyes and ears. Never feel you are bothering your doctor at this stage of life. You have earned attentive care. Sometimes the 3 a.m. wake-up is emotional. Grief does not keep office hours. It visits at night. So does quiet anxiety about health, about children, about the world changing faster than you prefer. During the day you are busy, you manage, but at 3 a.m. the house is silent and your thoughts echo. I once sat with a woman named Doris, 82, who told me, "I don't cry during the day, I cry at 3 a.m. She thought this meant she was weak. It did not. It meant her nervous system finally had stillness to process what she had been carrying. We worked gently, more daytime conversation with friends, a short afternoon walk, writing a page in a journal before bed. Slowly, her nights became less heavy. You must remember, your brain is still alive with memory and meaning. It does not retire simply because you have. Now let me offer you a small nighttime practice. When you wake at 3 a.m., place one hand on your chest and one on your abdomen. Breathe in slowly through your nose for 4 counts and out for 6. The longer exhale tells your nervous system you are safe. Do this 10 times, not as a performance, as a kindness. If your mind begins making lists, keep a small notepad by your bed. Write one line, "I will think about this tomorrow," then close it. This small act gives your brain permission to rest. During the day, protect your strength. Muscle is your independence. Even in your 80s, you can build a little of it back. Stand from a chair 10 times in the morning and 10 in the afternoon. Walk daily if you can, even around your home. Lift light objects with intention. These are not exercises to become young again. They are investments in steadiness. Eat regularly. Include protein at each meal. Eggs, yogurt, beans, fish, chicken, nuts. Whatever suits your culture and your health. Protein supports muscle, and muscle steadies blood sugar. Blood sugar steadies sleep. Seek morning light. Guard your evenings from harsh screens and bright overhead bulbs. Your brain needs a clear sunrise and a gentle sunset. And perhaps most important of all, speak kindly to yourself. You have lived through decades of change, raising families, working, caregiving, surviving losses, celebrating joys. Your body has carried you faithfully. If it wakes at 3 a.m., it is not misbehaving. It is adjusting within the limits of time and biology. Aging is not weakness. It is a stage that requires wiser care, softer routines, and deeper patience. A well-kept home needs more maintenance after many winters. A mature garden needs thoughtful tending. That does not make it less beautiful. In many ways, it makes it more so. If your 3 a.m. wake-ups are mild and you return to sleep, rest in the knowledge that segmented sleep can still be restorative. If they are persistent, distressing, or accompanied by physical symptoms, seek medical guidance with calm confidence. There is dignity in asking for help. Tonight, if you wake, instead of sighing in frustration, you might whisper, "I am listening," because your body is not your enemy. It is your lifelong companion. And in our next conversation, I would like to talk with you about another quiet change many women notice after 70, the subtle shifts in balance and why they happen even when you feel strong. Until then, be gentle with yourself. You are not failing. You are evolving.